geared to think very linearly. So I always feel we overestimate the impact of technology in the short term and tend to kind of underestimate it in the long term, right?
True.
So my position statement is, we've been trying to mimic the human brain for a very long time. I've been in the computer industry for over 2 decades. We've been trying to wonder, the human brain consumes 20 watt power and does the kind of reasoning that compute systems can't, right? So independent of the Princeton study, great respect for people, there'll always be intellectual digression on these topics, but I believe that the train for mimicking the reasoning and the compute performance of brain, that train has already left. And the question now is to how to make the journey safe, secure, and worthwhile.
Right.
Back to your question on semiconductors, we selfishly believe we are the pizza base on which the whole semiconductor AI stack sits on. We have, if all of you are familiar with Moore's law, the industry has found ways to bring down cost consistently over many decades, right?
True.
Now, of course, because of device physics and other challenges, we've kind of hit a roadblock now, but a very interesting thing is happening. I'll get a little technical here, and then forgive me if this is not too relevant. There is a fundamental shift happening in how enterprise server architectures are designed. The traditional architecture would be a CPU sitting next to it, a DRAM from Micron or any of our peers. That is being replaced by a GPU or a TPU. And what we are seeing, just a plug for my mother company, instead of having a discrete DRAM, now we have stacks of DRAM. If you open up the NVIDIA Blackwell architecture, what you see is instead of one single DRAM, you have 8, 10, 16 layers of DRAM with some logic built under it. So the point I'm trying to make to you is the innovation is intense. The amount of innovation you're seeing in the compute architecture is intense, which is why the future for AI is so bright, because the building blocks are beautifully getting in shape. The cost is always high at the start because the industry is very sensitive to yield. In semiconductors, having a viable silicon is not enough. It has to yield in excess of 99% for it to be cost effective. I think thanks to the whole focus on bandwidth, the fundamental shifts in server architecture, and the fact that most companies in the ecosystem are innovating so well, I think the cost structures will get better over time. And cost is a function of scale, adoption, and also more competition.
Improvements in technology.
Yeah, and today it's largely a few players kind of taking the lead.
Absolutely.
I'm very sure, I'm predicting that there'll be multiplayer kind of a scenario, and with more players, more economies of scale.
Right.